white people are lazy. That's why they came and got us, because they wanted folks to work for them. And so we benefit from that need to be comfortable with them. Do you understand? So if there's a way to shortcut it and get some equipment, they don't have to get up, or a remote control or a robot that'll do it. I'm just telling you the facts. That's how we live. And so blacks live under their thumb. And so whatever they get, we get, because we're in the country.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Back to Africa event. Today we'll be having a very interesting guest, Dr. Wanda Weber, and she's actually a woman, a powerful and intelligent black woman. Okay, welcome Dr. Wanda.
Is this so too much? Should I change sides? Is this okay?
Yeah, it's very fine. It's very okay. It's okay. So how is Ghana?
Ghana's hot. Ghana's hot. Ghana's full of...
Nigeria is hot too.
It's full of energy. You know, I'm in Pone, so it's a village township, so everything is always kind of copacetic.
Oh, okay.
So it's fine.
I'm glad to have you on our live events today.
Be here.
Okay. So, Doc will be asking you a lot of questions like, you've been to Africa, you've been to 5 countries in Africa, and I was really thrilled when I went through your bio, like the changes you had to make, the mini libraries you set up, and everything you've been doing for your local community. So, first, I would like you to introduce yourself to the viewers. I already did that at the beginning of this section, though, but I would just like you to introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Wanda. I like to be called Dr. Wanda.
Okay.
I am a globe-trotting professor. I like to call myself that because basically I am a professor. I've taught everything, preschool, grammar school, high school, but I finished up at the collegiate level. So I feel like I'm a professor wherever I go. Okay.
Okay.
I am an education specialist. That's what my PhD is grounded in. Professional studies of education. But I'm also an activist, an education activist. So I do a lot of what Black Americans know as grassroots activism. That's something that is really inherent to us, where you use the people in your community, you use the resources in your community, you respond to the problems in your community to deal with, spark, and solve issues. Through activism. It can be speaking out, it can be organizing, but primarily it's meant to be solutions driven. Let's solve this problem. We have this problem, let's solve this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So what year was the first country you visited? What was the first country you visited, and in what year was that?
In 2016, that was the year that a small documentary called Professors in Poverty was done about me and some other academics, because we were on the forefront of really fighting for adjunct professors, for basically for people in higher education to, one, have the right to have classes and tenure and benefits, and all of that stuff bottomed out. In the US, it bottomed out. So now, to be is a low-wage job. You really don't make much more than people that work at grocery stores, or if they are, CNAs. It is a low-wage job, and it's because corporate America put its hands in that mix. And once they put their hands in it, they decided that the president and the provost and all these, the dean, they should have a lot of money, but the educators themselves, they kind of starve. So you never know if you're going to get a class. Sometimes you get a class, sometimes you don't, sometimes you get a course load. You can't plan for anything. And so it took what should have been middle class, upper class experience and made us into the working poor. And I was outraged about that. I couldn't believe it. because I'm one of those people who played fair. I went to school. I stayed out of trouble. I didn't have a bunch of children. I was or who was that instead of being ashamed of that experience, I decided, listen, I didn't do nothing wrong. We know what's going on. And that's what drew the attention from the
Oh,
internet.
someone just said the audio is cutting. I don't know.
My audio is cutting.
Yes, can you hear now? Okay,
They,
okay, okay. They said it's better. Yes, they said it's
okay.
better.
Yeah, that's what made me get on the forefront of that fight. I'm gonna put some headphones on if I can find them. And that's what drew me to Africa, because the Africans saw me. Other people saw me too. And they reached out to me and they said, with all of your experience and your credentials, with all of your education and how cultured you are, if you were any place else in the world, you would be scooped up. And one man in particular said to me, and the motherland needs you. And I don't know if the heavens split open or the sun reset or the moon shined brighter, but then my effort became, I had never been to Africa. Africa was simply a bucket list. Before I die, if I get over there, great. I didn't have any, I was always Afrocentric. I was always comfortable in my blackness in that sense, but it just made it paramount that I come. And so the first place I landed happened to be South Africa.
Okay.
It was only South Africa because they offered me as a professor at Concordia University. What they said was, we won't pay for your ticket. I asked to be because the particular university has a program where they do exchange students, and they have a music program because the South African can sing their butt off. I said, can I chaperone? They said no. Can I exchange? They have a professorship swap. Can I let a professor come in my place and I go in the professor's place? They said no. So I said, you owe me, because the arrangement they had was, for every class you taught, they gave you a class. Well, the doctorate is a terminal degree. There's no degree higher than a PhD. So most people with PhD are not rushed to get back in the classroom. So you giving me a class for what? You don't want to give me money because you don't want to give me benefits. You understand? Because you don't want to give me a solid class load. So with that in mind, I said, I put pressure. And they said, okay, this is what we'll do. We will allow you to go teach and counsel and do whatever it is you want to do in South Africa. They offered me 2 spots, South Africa or Uganda. I was scared of Uganda because I remembered Idi Amin, all the hoopla around him as a child, and with no understanding that Idi Amin had been gone like 30 years, and that the president that the U.S. propped up after him was far worse than him. They like all the horror stories tell about him, that president was even terrible. Okay, so I took South Africa. South Africa was nostalgic for me. I remember the fighting for Mandela's freedom. I remembered all of the music that came out of Soweto, and I remembered the movie Serafina. I watched the movie Serafina. I taught the movie Serafina. I remember Miriam Makeba, and it was just, I had Dennis Brutus, and I had enough to say, let me do South Africa. That's where I landed first. And me and my everything I do is ×2. It's always me and my daughter. So 5 there. We went to South Africa. We didn't know anyone there, and we put us in a village called Mabola. And they literally dropped us off and they said, this is the village. I had never been in a village. And they said, yeah, this is the village, and pulled up. They left.
Okay. Right. So I remember when I called you, you told me you're particularly interested in rural areas. You say you don't do cities. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't do cities because visiting the city and the country have a different. And one thing about my birth city, Detroit, is that it's a hometown. It used to be a hometown because unlike other major cities, the Blacks in Detroit owned their homes. We already had black teachers, Black doctors, Black nurses. A lot of what segregated America were going through. And the whites that stayed because they didn't have a problem with Blacks. So we was our own city until they destroyed the city. But even though I grew up in the city, it was a hometown. We knew each other. We loved each other. The elders felt comfortable spanking you, disciplining you, telling your mama on you, but they also gave you hand-me-downs. They gave you their children's old clothes. They would squeeze you into a car to go to an event if your parent wouldn't take you. They punished you, if you were, doing something in a park or at school. And so I still long for that type of community. And the thing about cities now, they're so big that sometimes we find loved ones, and this happened with my loved one. They've been in their apartment dead 3 days. Nobody knew. Somebody has to smell the funk. You understand?
Yeah.
Because there's no one actually talking to you, checking on you, having tea with you. They don't even see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Doc. You said something like I'm reading with your bio, the bio you sent to me. You call this your God work. So tell us about your God work and how it started. Like the
word.
Yes, in the motherland, what you've been doing so far, the mini libraries and every other thing you've.
Oh, well, I only take on the projects that mean something to me. So here's the deal. I'm not attached to any not-for-profit or NGO. I'm not any corporate sponsorship. I'm not attached to any church. And for the most part, that's on purpose. I've done all that before. But what I find is when you attach to these other entities, when your heart is tugged, they'll tell you 50 reasons why you can't pick up that project. So maybe I'll see you. And you just innocently took me to meet family members. And there's an elder, and you say, oh, that's Papa. He needs surgery on his eye, but the family don't have it. So he okay. And I'm sitting here thinking, I could help y'all with that. I mean, it's my own free will that I want to get involved in that. And so I get to do the love work, the personal work, the intimate work, the way I see that Jesus did it. This isn't about me having to come back to a committee and have a meeting and we have an itinerary and we sit down and walk through a list. This is, I saw a child with no shoes. I know my daughter has an extra pair of shoes. Tell me the little girl's address. Ask the parents, okay, let's drive over there and drop this stuff off and let's go. A lot of it, some of it I document. I would say 75% of my work I document. There's a lot of love offering and thing I do very quietly. If I think it's going to embarrass or if it's uncomfortable, some things have to be private, but other things I do alert because it is in the crowd. It's random people that actually support the work I do. It's not who you think. There are people I've done tons and tons of stuff for. They don't give me anything. Then there'll be some stranger that reaches out to me and says, hey, I like what you're doing and I want to support you.
Okay. Wow. Said a lot. So like, can we just, some of the projects, can you name them? Like, I don't really know all about
Some
it.
projects. Well, I'm an academic, so I'm always going to bring books. It's no secret that Africa has a book famine. There's a shortage of books. You have tons of Bible, but you don't have a lot of the type of literature that expands the mind. So I'm impressed that people can do these memory verses and do all this quoting, but does that teach you how to do coding? Does it sharpen your architectural skills? Does it help you with communication? Do you understand the other skill sets where you need books? Does it help you be a critical thinker? Can you imagine, step outside of the box and think of something different? So I want Blacks, I want Africans, I want melanated people able to be competitive. And sometimes they're not competitive because they're too grounded, closed. It's okay that you're well behaved, but there is something breaking rules. And some of them are, women and scientists. Let little girls learn how to do robotics. How do I get you excited about that? I need to get you that type of literature where you see the potential for it and you can teach. So I do books, technology, any sort of academic resources like that. I do all sorts of creative kits. I do Black baby dolls because I think it's absolutely an atrocity to come to a nation. I grew up in America. We're 12, 13% of the population. That's what Black people are. Okay.
Wow.
Come to these dominant nations and see chocolate children holding white baby dolls in adoration and poverty. How do they dream? Do they say, when I grow up, I want to be her? Or do they look at their mother and their aunt and their sister that's carrying water on their head, that's cooking, and say, I want to be her? And what the research is shown is they want to be that doll. They stop seeing the beauty in themselves and their own type. So we do Black baby dolls. We do, I pick up community projects. I do solar panels every year,
Wow.
5 years. I've been Leonard Obama Race to Read, where you win solar panels and you win a set of books. Okay. I do water. Now I invest in water, getting water, whether it is delivered water, the truck, they come out and get it, whether it is the well, like we're finishing up a well in Tanzania, and the ultimate would be when I finally am able to put in a borehole. But all of this is random, so it's not, I never know where I'm gonna do it, which group, it depends, because I have that control over me. It's about my heart's investment. I'm pouring myself into another, they're pouring me. And I like that work better than having these long, lofty board meetings and you're sitting in an itinerary of 10 things and you didn't get to the last 3, but it just turned out that the last one was most important to you. So I get to pick up the projects that's important to me.
Wow. This is very inspirational. People need to hear this. Like today, why the views is actually low, because I'm very sure many people don't know we'll be having it on our page. We usually have it on the group, so we're hoping by subsequently people get to know that it's on the page. Since it's a closed group, it doesn't allow for sharing and all that. So, but I have listened to all these projects you've been doing. I'm thinking, is it not really cost intensive? Have you not been spending a lot? Where does the bulk of your capital for this kind of project?
Where does the money come from?
Yes.
It's an interesting thing that we all have roles to play. Some people care a lot, but they don't actually want to do the work. And if they could find somebody that they could give the money to that would get that job done, they'll give it to you.
Wow.
Other people have organizations that are a bit dormant and they don't mind linking with you, because when you pick up these projects, it does bring a certain amount of attention. And maybe they need the attention to get some energy back into their organization. So it's a positive usury. Sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, and my family and friends will tell you this, I do pull a certain amount of money out of my own purse. I want it done. I want it done yesterday. And so I don't too much go into a church and I do my 10% direct. I see you need medicine. I see you're short on school fees and I like you and I'm working with your family. And so my tithing goes direct. That's what I'm into. I don't discourage anybody with their spiritual systems. I'm just telling you, for me, I need to see that even if it's just one, and I do believe in the power of one, even if I affect one life, it's massive. It's massive.
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people would learn a lot from this project, because I've actually come across people who be like, I want to go to Africa and I want to make a change, but like, this is someone here doing it, a woman who is doing it, and you're very impressive. I actually went through your profile, your post on your wall, and I saw a lot of people like, thank you, like, wow, this is proof, this is social proof enough that she's actually doing a lot to improve lives. So Dr. Wanda, you're married to a Ghanaian. That's amazing. So we would like to hear your love story. How did you meet him and everything? Just tell us about your.
How did I meet my?
Yes.
Online.
Wow.
I was coming back from Tanzania. We had held the race to read. I delivered some more books to that school. There's a school there called Guza Secondary. It's on an island pushed way back. I probably will mispronounce the name. It's like Irkaway Island. It's one of the fourth largest islands in Africa, surrounded by Lake Victoria, but not Dar es Salaam. It's not it's not Zanzibar. It's not Arusha. So it doesn't get all of or Kilimanjaro. It doesn't get all the that those places get. But I built a relationship with a set of educators there. And at the time, those educators reached out to me and they said, Tanzania is making education free, but we don't have books, we don't have resources, we don't have what we need. We don't even have enough chairs to do what they claim they want us to do. And so I said, listen, I don't have no money, but I've been an educator for 30-something years. So I have respect for other people, and I put a lot of time in, and a lot of my students are now functioning adults. Let me put a shout out on Facebook and tell them what your needs are. And the donations started coming in.
Wow.
So that work, he saw, and he saw me, and he was wondering, who is that lady that's doing all of this, that she's not connected to a church? I don't see a church. I don't see that. Who is the friend request? And he found out.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, he sent a friend request just to find out who was that lady doing all this stuff in Tanzania, and he wanted to know who that was. And
Okay. Dr. Wanda, thank you. So that's how you met him, and you got married in what year was that?
February 14th. And that's a pure accident. I never would have gotten married on Valentine's. 2019.
Oh, okay.
We're 3 years in.
Yes, I also came across your beauty line, or your natural product line. When did you start that? About I see you deal in African natural health for health and beauty.
Well, by the time I came, I was sick. My weight was, my blood pressure was, even when I came to marry my husband, I came sick. I had real bad sciatica in one leg. America is an amazing country in that we're very advanced. We're very comfortable. We have buttons and we push this, and many things are simplified. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I speak my mind and I speak the truth. White people are lazy. That's why they came and got us, because they wanted folks to work for them. And so we benefit from that need to be comfortable with them. Do you understand? So if there's a way to shortcut it and get some equipment, they don't have to get up, or a remote control, or a robot that'll do it. I'm just telling you the facts. That's how we live. And so Blacks live under their thumb. And so whatever they get, we get, because we're in the country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it also means you're underusing your body. The African works all day, is working out all day without even working out. You're lifting, you're bending, you're stretching, you're carrying something. You understand?
Yeah.
There's something where you're using the dexterity in those fingers, your biceps, the whole frame of the native African is completely different from ours. One thing I told my husband, and it's the first thing my daughter knows. She said, the old people are not curved here. Most old people still are upright. Our old people are curved because they're walking with four walkers, they're walking with canes, they're sitting a lot. You understand? They're underutilizing the body. And then everything for us is fast, 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 fast. So that means we get a lot of
Network just messed up this video, this live section. I really apologize for that because we were actually having a very insightful session before we had the break. That's very terrible. I'm sorry. This is what we have to deal with all the time, but it's fine. So Dr. Wanda said a lot. I'm hoping she gets back on this live, but while we still hope she does that, we've heard a lot from her and how she was able to start. You just need to go out there and start first. Please tag Dr. Wanda, tag her to come on live. It just went off unexpectedly. We have to deal with that from time to time while we hope that our internet gets better. Maybe one of these days we'll get 5G. Okay, thank you, Clark Caesar. Tag Dr. Wanda to be on this live. We still have so many questions to ask them. She actually organized this health fair in Ghana. She called it a G3 tour. And I would like her to tell us about this. She said a lot, and I'm actually inspired, and I'm sure you are inspired if you're someone who wants to actually make a change, and really do something for the African community you would find yourself in. Some people actually wish to repatriate, and other people wish to just pay a visit. But whatever you find yourself doing in Africa, you have to play your own part in making the motherland a better place. Thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. If at all you don't get on this live again, but thank you so much. I'm hoping she comes online so we could just round up this discussion. We have a lot to say, but unfortunately this is just happening, but it's still fine. No wahala, like Caesar said. So she said a lot. Dr. Wanda runs a successful business too. She deals in organic African health and beauty products, and she's been living in. Yesterday, surprisingly, yesterday marks a year of her stay in Africa, a complete year. So she's been in Africa for a year now, in Ghana, and she's been doing great, impacting lives and doing a lot. So if at all you want to come to Africa and you want to start a project, I recommend you speak to Dr. Wanda. She's a very wonderful person, has a very bright personality, and she would gladly entertain you and help you with your project, with ideas on how to kick off your project. So also after this live section, I'll be dropping her YouTube link. She runs a YouTube channel that is named after her, Dr. Wanda Evans Brewer. Okay, she's here. Okay. Sorry about that. We just went off like that. Those are the things we can't really predict or help. So I'll be bringing her up back. We have a lot to talk, so Nigerian internet cannot mess up this live section. Okay.
Okay. I had to use the littlest helper. I had to use my daughter. I said, help me. We're out.
Okay. So we were saying a lot. I don't know what you were at before the video went off, but yeah, you said you are most proud of your health fair.
Yes.
The one you hosted in Ghana. So tell us about it.
Well, that was probably the most amazing thing I've done because it took me completely out my comfort zone. I've never done one. I am not a health practitioner of any sort. I did do home nursing, um, but nothing serious. But I had a friend that was interested in coming to Ghana, uh, and I explained to her that, listen, Africa doesn't owe anybody an apology. It is rough terrain. Is you can find everything, palaces to, pets. But at the end of the day, this is all put together on purpose. It's underdeveloped on purpose. Where it's developing is great, but you will find an underdeveloped experience. She watched what I don't know what um, illusion she was under because I always do village life. I've just stayed in the city other than come and go visit quick here or there. So she was a nurse educator, nurse practitioner, wanted to come. And so I said, listen, you can come to Africa with me, but my light is very strong. And I don't want to swallow you up. I don't want you mad at me. I don't want you just. Let's pick something where you can shine and I can shine. We can do this work together. We agreed to do this. And part of it was building for it. So I am by nature a researcher. So I started studying, what are the issues in West Africa? Well, the biggest killer of Africans across the continent is malaria. Okay, let's talk about that. What is some of the other issues? The challenge is with water, contaminated water, the stuff with allowing people to drill in healthy water pots and spoiling it. Uh, what's happening with hygiene, happening with tech, whatever. I started studying. And that's the beginning of the tour. And as I most things I was learning, like salt, something as simple as salt, that's in the body, that's considered white gold, that is so important to most of the functions in our body. Like we need a little bit of salt just to keep everything in order. Okay, how a community like Livonia, which is a salt harvesting community, and still have that amount of poverty, but also have that world, like 90%, 85% of the salt that goes out to the West comes from that community. And yeah, I did all of that. And she was supposed to do sort of the doctor in, nurse in. I got worried midway and I reached out to someone in Ghana. And said, do you nurses that I can assemble to be a part of this team? And it just so happened he did. So he gave me what I end up calling the Magnificent Six. These six nurses were amazing. Young nurses, serious, focused. They're doing work here. And so part of what I learned was, yeah, even if a country has poverty, it still has professional people. It has folks on the ground, boots on the ground, and know where to get stuff, how much it costs. And they have stuff that they may need. So then I was able to ask them, what are you, where's the gaps at? So when I the kit and talking to the nurse, here's what they say they need. I didn't want to give what I think they need. I wanted to give them what they needed. This is my husband's community. So he was able to tell some things, but at the end of the day, we decided to target 4 areas. You never go wrong with high blood pressure. You never go wrong with hepatitis, particularly because there's a season where lots of Africans start getting it.
Yeah.
You never go wrong with anything that contaminates water and gets into the stomach, like typhoid. Like it was things that we decided we would focus on. And then I'm Black from America, so we don't have health fairs without having things in place for children, lollipops and carnival like games so that they're occupied where their parents are in these long lines and waiting to service. But then I also had a vision of making sure that elders had special care. So to believe it or not, the 2 other people on the team, one was the nurse, the other was an artist, who I had recruited her to make anti mosquito bracelet. I hired a Ghanaian maker to make me, I gave her the recipe for an anti-mosquito soap that's very good that we gave it away at the fair, but I sell it now on Wonderland's Naturals. But
Wow.
then the artist, to make the bracelet where you put the essential oils in that bracelet because the Ghanaian loves beads. He loves jewelry. That's not a stretch. And you're wearing it. You're wearing your repellent. And,
Wow.
you know, it's just a lot of a really deep thought on how to reach that community and respect it. So not prescribing, but finding out, let's take a pulse on what's really going on. Let's find out where people are comfortable, and then let's go there. So these two people that were a part of the G3 tour abandoned me upon arriving to Africa. Neither had been to Africa before. They were very overwhelmed. There's not constant Wi-Fi in the U.S. Every place we go, we stay on our phones because
Yes.
Wi-Fi is all over. Okay, that's not true in Africa. Although Ghana is well ahead of other nations, it is.
Wow.
And then they said about air conditioning. Well, I've never been in a place where I lived with air conditioning. I do as the natives do. That's why Ghanaians make amazing fans. Get your fan, sit down and fan yourself. You know, where they were saying that, that's just how it was going to be. But here's the thing, you don't die from it. You're uncomfortable. You're power. They made such a big to-do. So I left and work and organizing. I put together suitcases full of wellness packets that I had assembled in there that was to be given as a gift to the people that showed up. We had a raffle. We called the kids to be a part of the raffle to distract them. We had collected, I can't even remember how many lollipops that was passed out so that the little ones would have. So this fair was going to be. And it was. And what ended up being was this one American academic and this amazing Ghanaian team of nurses and doctors. It was two doctors, nurse, and a lab technician. And honestly, they just made it happen. They made it happen. I'm still bonded with them. The one I like the least, I love. It just was an amazing thing. So, and the real issue. So we gave the vaccinations for what we wanted to give it for, which was really hepatitis. And of course, but what Lilonians suffer from is high blood pressure. They are right there, ripe and ready for strokes, and they're working to that, including the chief and others who, they had elevated. So we know the next fair, when we go to Lilonia, it's a bunch of stuff we can focus on, but the truth, we really need to hone in on how to teach them to be able to eat and manage themselves without stroking out. We need to focus on high blood pressure.
Oh, that's wonderful. Like, you've been doing a great job. It's very inspirational, actually. Many people actually just wait for the big money to come, but from your little angle, you're just improving life, and that's everything. I don't know if the media has ever taken any of your projects online, like, to the media, the newspapers, or the media in Ghana.
I was interviewed at your radio. I think it's Joy. And as we were setting off, I had hired a scribe to document, because I said, I'm going to be too deep into what's happening. I don't want to be responsible for pictures, nothing like that. And he set a media piece together. But here's the ticket with me with media. I've been, who don't want a good interview? I want them, and you need them. But at a certain point, if you are consistent and you're doing a good enough work, the truth is the people tell it. The people, you should be doing enough work with the people remember you. Even if they don't remember your name. I remember a lady came and gave us this. I'm interested more in that type of media, because I think we've forgotten that these small voices matter. I'm visiting back at the at Lilonia with my husband, and I was a little kind of like, you know, I was just having a woman's day. I was just kind of grumpy, ready or whatever. And an elder recognized me. She was old. She said, I remember her speaking in her mother tongue to him and blah, blah, blah. She went and got herself checked out. Well, for one, she got treated there, but she got herself checked out as a result of the health fair. And she gave me this big hug. I have an amazing picture of her. And she was selling, she was carrying cassava skin. So it was like that. That's what she did. I, it was like her, she's old, but she's healthy. She's still here. She's thriving. And she once again, when I tell you, I mean, you know, and I'm not, you know, goody two shoe. That means more than a media blurb. You understand? Than a write up in a paper that can be washed out. That woman will recruit more people for anything that one of the articles can do. And I miss when we value. I miss when we value respect that the common person had work that people did. That's grassroots people know the old ladies on the blocks that cared about them. They know who cooked for them. They know who sold for them. Now, these people aren't necessarily textbooks, but for sure, they most are in our hearts. And there's a whole set of children who grew into adults that were better human beings. Those are my heroes. Yeah,
Okay.
those people are always my
You're
heroes.
breaking a bit. You're breaking a bit, but that's fine. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. We've spent almost an hour on this live session, and I've learned a lot, and I'm inspired actually. Like, there's so much to be done in Africa, and so many people are actually interested in the motherland like never before this season, this period. I don't know why that's happening, but it's one thing to come and visit, then is another to actually change lives, no matter how little. And you're doing a very good work. I'm hoping very soon you put Nigeria in your bucket list.
You know what? I have a bishop. Ajim, he'll be mad if I say it. Imagine that. He wants me to come to Nigeria. I haven't, but he's been trying to get me to organize a tour and come there. So it is on my. It's definitely on my landscape. But everything, when you know you'll go, when everything falls in place. There's somebody to host you. There's somebody to pick you up at the airport. They already if they put it in place, but I haven't had that team yet. But Nigeria is definitely, you know, a consideration. And growing up in Chicago, I know lots and lots and lots of Nigerians. Lots of Nigerians in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Y'all run.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and all these things you've told us. So if you're out here, if you're watching this video or you would watch later, I'm sure if you have a project, you can always reach out to Dr. Wanda. I'm sure she would gladly help you with ideas on how to start. Clark Caesar on this live he's spoken to me about how he wants to change lives. He's really interested in that. So I think you should.
He already doing it.
He's planning to. He has not started, but he's been talking about it.
Listen, all of this stuff is born in the heart.
Okay.
He just needs to get it outside of himself. It's already done. He just needs to know that it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank everyone who's watched, and for those who will be coming on live, you can actually share this video and go to Dr. Wanda has a YouTube channel, Dr. Wanda Evans Brewer. I'll drop it on this page later on. And she actually deals in organic African health and beauty products.
Y'all heal me. Herbs, baby. Herbs, roots, leaves, berries, teas. Organic.
Yes.
You know what I call Ghana? The Garden of Eden.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, she also hosts a successful internet radio program, I'm hoping one of these days I get on your program. I would have to find more
I
about.
YouTube. When I do them, they're on. They release onto my YouTube page,
Oh,
so you
okay, okay,
can catch up with some of those. Those are podcasts.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
we're hoping to see you late in Nigeria soon. Like you said, he's already in the landscape. So
Well,
we just,
you got me. We linked. So
oh,
put it in. Let's see what we can do.
of course, of course.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's very interesting having you. So thank you very much. Thank everyone who's been with us throughout. Just few people. I just hope I'll share this to the group and hope more people will turn on for the next live section. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you and everyone. Bye. See you next week, and also share this video.